it takes someone someone to believe in you to give you your first shot. And without him, that wouldn't have happened. And, Will called me too saying, hey, Lauren asked me to call you and see if you want to come on the show. Like,
Welcome back to the Up and Adam Show. Guys, I'm super, super excited because we're sitting with a dream guest of mine, someone I've looked up to ever since I was a little kid. You guys know I'm very into comedy. I'm very into the movie night, the Roxbury. I love Saturday Night Live. And we're here with the legendary Chris Kattan. Chris, I'm so excited to have you on today. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man.
Hey, no problem. Like I mentioned even earlier before we started, I've watched all your stuff. Saturday Night Live stuff is hilarious, and all your characters you've done, your physicality is so amazing. And I just want to get into the very beginning when you first started off, because I know you were in the Groundlings. And for people watching who don't know what the Groundlings is, it's a sketch comedy improvisational troupe. And your father actually was one of the founders of it, which I found was really interesting. So he was an inspiration, I'm guessing, ever since you were a little kid, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. He's made a huge impact on me since I was a little kid. He's no longer with us, but I wouldn't have gotten involved in comedy if it weren't for him. He used to watch, and he loved old films and old radio shows, and he just had the most impeccable taste, from Marx Brothers to W.C. Fields to Chaplin and Keaton, and he introduced me to all those incredible the genius level of comedy, people from the 1920s and the silent era all the way to until he passed away. So he was there from the beginning of the start of the Groundlings, and I used to come see him perform there at the Groundlings, and go to him when he went to the Groundling rehearsals or the classes they would take on Tuesday night, and it had such a huge impact on me to see my father get such genuine laughs from an audience, and to see how funny he was, because he always made me laugh, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But to see him do that and make other people feel so good, and for them to laugh, with him, at him, watch him do stuff, his characters and stuff it just meant so much to me. It was a big deal for me. And just recently I was in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And my dad was born in Chicago, so I was thinking a lot about my dad actually over the weekend, and I really had a strong sense of him while I was there, and it was and I haven't felt that in a very long time, and it was really it was quite, I don't know, I can't explain it, but it was
It's kind of like you felt his presence even though he wasn't there. You're saying you kind of felt he was.
Yeah, in a way, yeah, because he was brought up there. My grandfather had a store in Chicago, and and it's if there's any history that they have, where they started off, my family, my dad's side of the family, would be in Chicago. So it was a great feeling to feel that, but yeah, my father, he made me laugh more than anyone ever did.
The Groundlings is a powerhouse to help people grow as comedians, and Chris actually invented a lot of his characters there, and that is what propelled him to go to Saturday Night Live.
Without the Groundlings, I wouldn't have had that education, mm-hmm. and know the tools and know how to create characters or write or comedy or have any of that kind of I wouldn't have known how to do that, or be able to last on something is amazing, and as strong of an institution as SNL is, and without being in the Groundlings. So I owe everything to that company.
What I like about you is I keep mentioning the physicality of yourself, which again, it's something that's so iconic about you. And, I think you took it and made it your own, which is something that is very hard to do, because you created your own genre of yourself. There's like this, like you created like the comedy is Chris Kattan, in my opinion. I just think of your own thing, right? On SNL from 1996 to 2003, when you were on, that was like the golden age of SNL. What were your thoughts going into it at first?
Well, I was nervous, and because there were a lot of big guns around me, and then like Norm Macdonald and David Spade and those guys were there, and I was like, wow, oh my God, be part of that cast. And it was I was the only reason why I was able to that I was able to survive when I first got there, because I came in a little bit after mid-season, between mid-season and I came in 6 episodes towards the end of a season.
Yeah.
And was that I had some characters already developed at the Groundlings, so I was able to do those without Lauren being generous and letting me have a shot on the first show that I was there. And I did this sketch called The Substitute Teacher, a character called Sewell Forrester, and he spoke gibberish. He's like, "Good afternoon, Asamana." Yeah, exactly. And Lauren, he was like, he let me have a shot at it, and it went really well. And I made the first episode, and it was really, and it takes someone someone like Lauren to believe in you, to give you your first shot, and without him, that wouldn't have happened. And of course, he hired me too, obviously. And Will called me too, saying, "Hey, Lauren asked me to call you and see if you want to come on the show." Like, duh.
No, of course, it's a no-brainer.
Come true. So I had some support when I got there, and everybody was so kind, but people were very busy. They were already in the middle of a season, so it wasn't, I didn't start in the beginning like a lot of other people did.
Yeah.
So it was already kind of oiled and well-oiled, and when it came to the cast and the writers, a lot of them knew each other too from where they came from as well. It was surprisingly more comfortable than you would think. I was a little bit nervous I was more nervous, but I turned that nervousness into more excitement, and I turned that nervousness into and put it into my characters.
I feel you have to in that situation, right? You have to.
Yeah, you have to do something with it because it's energy. Yeah, and you got to do something with it.
Absolutely.
So that's what I did. I put it into my characters and worked, and Will and I also worked together previously in the Groundlings, so we did the Roxbury guys, and that was fun to do. We did other characters too.
Yeah, you guys did the more cowbell sketch as well, which I'll never forget. That was hilarious.
Yeah, we're in that. I mean, that was I believe Chris Parnell, who was also Groundling, wrote that with Will. It's and possibly Adam McKay, I think, who's brilliant. And but I was just in the sketch. I was lucky to be cast in it. So
I'm not sure if but I have your book, and it's amazing. And I read about your characters, and the thing that really made me laugh as well was that, for example, Mr. Peepers, an iconic character of yours, that you actually believed you were like a 10-pound monkey. You know what I mean? Like that was something that really inspired me and stuff, right? And for people watching, like, for example, a character like Mr. Peepers or a character like Mango, like, how did you create these characters? Where did they come from? Where did they originate? Because they're so extravagant, so full of energy. Where'd you get this idea from?
Mr. Peepers was based on when they had on and they still do it on talk shows, but they bring up an animal on. And at that time, it was Johnny Carson, Jay Leno, actually. And but Johnny Carson was famous for it, where Jack Hanna, who was an animal trainer, would come on and we'd bring an animal on, and the animal would be, come on the talk show, and he would do physical things on the desk, in front of Johnny Carson. And, it was a lot of, they would always he would do some crazy antics with talk show host.
Yeah.
And so I based Mr. Peepers on an animal of some sort, you know, like that on the talk show. So that's where Mr. Peepers came from. And I had big eyes. So
yeah. And also to touch upon that as well about Mr. Peterson was about you were eating an apple. Like you talked about you trained to eat an apple in like a matter of seconds to really.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's kind of like you just like, I don't know what it is. I mean, it's what kind of technique it is, but like you just kind of, if you put in your head something and you say to yourself, you know what, I could do this. And then you just try it and it works, then, that's how it is. I didn't really go to a training school to eat apples. It's funny, sometimes it's not really, you don't know why you make a choice. You just have to. So you make a choice and then all of a sudden people, like yourself are like, why did you choose that? I don't know. Honestly, I just did.
Yeah. Well, but it shows how passionate
intentionally I have this philosophy behind eating an apple, well,
it shows how passionate you are. It shows how passionate you are about the characters because you go through extensive things to make the characters so memorable, like leaving little things like that about eating an apple. Like thinking like to myself, like, how'd you think of that and everything? It just goes to show how determined and passionate you are about your characters. That's what it comes down to ultimately.
Well, that's very kind of you to say that. Thank you.
No problem.
Well, I enjoy I enjoy being I enjoy doing characters, and it's one of my favorite things to do is to to take on a character and become that character.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do with the Mango character or any character I would play and still do.
And even like your other characters we talked about, Night the Roxbury.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to do that film, and I thought I think music is really important when it comes to doing comedy, and if you have any excuse to use music, it really helps move things, I think.
Yeah.
And give you energy, give things energy, give obviously films energy, and it gives it a whole different vibe and a different feeling when you watch the film, depending on the music. And obviously that was a good portion of that of the Roxbury movie, was the music. I think it had a lot to do with why it was successful.
The 90s was undoubtedly the best era. It had the best music, the best movies. Everything was so vibrant and fun. And Chris and I were talking about all the amazing things he's done. For example, being in movies like Night at the Roxbury or creating his characters on SNL. But the comedy scene has changed, and I was asking Chris how he was able to adapt as a comedian. And Mango, where did Mango originate from too?
Mango was kind of based on my dog. She was a Dalmatian, and she would when she looked away from me, when she wasn't facing me, she kind of looked over here and they look back and kind of wag her tail and give like a come hither look kind of thing. And I thought and she's kind of playing coy with me like a little dog was. And I thought that was really cute. And so I kind of based it on that.
Oh my God. That's funny, man.
So like that was like that. I thought that might be a funny character. So like, that kind of thing, that's that's what makes me laugh, and
Yeah.
it's something that gives me an excuse to do a character, and then I can incorporate that into my act or something.
I saw you went to go see the movie Nope.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah. And I watched it as well. Great movie. And they name dropped you in that movie, right? So
Yes.
how did you find out about that? And when you watched the movie, like how did that like what was the experience like just even seeing them talk about you? Was that just like really funny to hear about?
I had no idea. And then till I read an article, and then I saw it. I don't know if someone told me going, hey, this article says you were mentioned in the movie Nope. I'm like, Jordan Peele wrote something about me? That's incredible. That's amazing. Like, because I love, the guy is so brilliant.
Genius.
His movies are amazing. So, and of course, Key and Peele is hilarious, but his film work is so good and so great. He's such a great filmmaker. So, anyway, I had no idea. So I had to go see the film and check it out. So, and I loved it. But I was like, I had no idea at all. So I that was kind of a trip.
It's interesting because I like Jordan Peele's movies because it's like how I mentioned about you about the comedy, like Chris Kattan's the genre, right? Jordan Peele's like this whole genre for film. It's like a different type of thing we've ever seen. And I know like yourself, you like to, which I've seen you do you talked about in other interviews as well, and you like to do also dramatic stuff as well. Besides comedy, you like to, do some dramatic roles. You like playing dramatic stuff as well, right?
I do. Yeah. I mean, it's not often that someone approaches me to do something dramatic, but that's okay. But I really do enjoy doing something dramatic too, as well.
That's awesome.
As long as I don't take myself too seriously,
Or hey, it's not good to take yourself seriously in general for anybody.
Yeah, you don't want to see a guy that's funny. I mean, usually, at least it's unless they can really do it. I mean, I do remember like when Tom Hanks was like hilarious, and the first couple of movies he did, and then he did something serious. It was amazing. Well, I mean, there are exceptional people, of course, but
look at Robin Williams. Robin Williams too.
Sure, of course, amazing. Yeah. And so, but I'm not that. That's not a level I'm not that good, obviously. But I would love. I love to do.
You're too humble.
I was in high school. I did a lot of drama.
Yeah.
And I think the characters are that I like to usually are based on something, are usually grounded on something real, or something that comes from a place of humanity in a way of some sort, or something that's grounded, so it can last and have different levels. The character, as opposed to just one joke kind of thing. I like to have something a little bit, play somebody with a little more, just more alive, or just have, different levels.
Yeah, more layers to the character, of course.
It's more interesting to do, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. When you hear people like Robert Pattinson or Jordan Peele pay homage to Chris Kattan, it goes to show how his stuff lives on for so many generations.
Yes, I saw that. Actually, Jimmy texted me once saying, "Are your ears ringing? Watch the show tonight." And then I did, and then I was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!"
It came out of nowhere too, because I don't think, if I remember correctly, I don't think Jimmy mentioned his favorite comedy movies. He just said favorite movies in general, right? So it's just funny that he was just like, and he mentioned the behind the scenes too. He's like, "Oh,
is that what he said?" Okay,
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, something
One
like that.
His top three
movies or something, right?
Comedy or top 3 films, I think. Which
films
is
or comedy.
Very surprising that he put Corky Mono in there.
No, but what's funny,
like, wow.
The movie too, he also mentioned about the behind the scenes stuff. That was what really made me laugh, because he was like, if you watch the behind the scenes, and I did on YouTube, you watch it, you laugh so hard on the behind.
I have not seen the behind the scenes part of that.
Well, not behind the scenes. I think it was like the bloopers or like behind the scenes of
was
the
it?
I've
seen it before, like, on after we filmed it, like behind the scenes stuff, obviously, but I haven't seen what it was he was talking about exactly, the behind the scenes stuff, or what it was he was referring to exactly. But just the fact that he said that was so cool.
It is cool,
you just never know. Like Jordan Peele mentioned that, or Robert Pattinson, like, it was very cool that they said that.
He's been a dream guest of mine ever since I started. I've been trying to get him on for a while, and I'm so happy we finally got to do this. It was such an honor. I think it's because your stuff is like, it lives on. It just keeps living
Oh,
on.
that's very kind of you to say that. Thank you.
Well, it's the honest truth, man. I don't just say that to say it. Like, and I only get people on my show too that I really, really want to get on. I've been telling you before, like, you're a dream guest of mine. I've been trying to get you on for like 2 years. That's how much.
Wow.
Yeah, I really been wanting to get you on because I look up to someone like you, man. And not only is Chris Kattan a comedian or an actor or a writer, but he's also a great impressionist. Take a look at this impression he does of the amazing Harrison Ford. Thank you. What are some of your favorite? Like, you don't have to do them, but what are some of your favorite impressions that you like to do over the years and everything?
Well, I could do Harrison Ford a little bit.
Oh, when I met him,
I was so excited to meet Harrison Ford. I said, "Oh my God, I'm so excited to meet you." And he went, "Settle."
You can just tell that Chris Kattan loves what he does, and he's so passionate. To this day, he's still doing sketch comedy. He has a sketch comedy show on YouTube called Hey Kattan, where he posts amazing funny sketches with this girl from Maria. Take a look at this funny clip.
The kids are gone.
So what does that mean?
The house is empty.
Where are the dogs?
At the dog park.
So what do you want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Sock him!
Get him! Knock him!
Hit him!
Mine's not moving.
Whack him!
It's not moving.
Mine's moving!
Mine isn't moving.
Mine's moving now! Why'd you hit me in the face?
Because it's funny!
How are you enjoying your Hey Kattan show? How's that going?
Oh, it's going great. I'm doing a movie in a couple weeks and doing another TV show, or I'm doing a TV show. And when is that? In the end of I think we're filming at the end of October, towards the end of October. Yeah. And just finished writing a script, and there's some other things coming up. So I'm very fortunate. So to be doing stuff that's coming up, I'm very excited.
That's so cool, man. Well, we're all rooting for you as always, and we're excited to see all your stuff. And man, it was such a pleasure to have you on today, man. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem.